Hii ni Buda Boss Live, malika kinuka tunakausha na kama K. Leo ni Super Sunday mti yangu. Mali supenda kuchambua vitu mbili tatu za Biblos. Na mazee tumekuwa tukiangalia history ya deliverance na nimewaletea mazee a deliverance counselor, a deliverance minister. Asaidia tu mazee ku-explain 1, 2, 3 things na mkwe na opportunity ya kuuliza maswali. Mazee kwa ushaikuwa na swali yote ya story ya deliverance. Kama kuna kitu umeona ukashanga, nini nimekuwa nikiona? Kama kuna kitu nimekuwa kikufanya uncomfortable ukisikia, ama kuna kitu inakutrouble na ujui utai-explain aje, please, we watch. Ukiona swali, tafadhali uliza. Nimefanya hii juu yako tuweze kupata understanding, au sio? Kama K watu yangu, Pastor Steve Jonathan Mwangi, taking it away. Leo wacha tutambue who we are, au sio?
Hi everyone. Now I'm just about to begin what I have written in this book. What I gave in the previous program was an introduction to why it is important for us to have the ministry of deliverance helping our lives. Now in this book, the question number 1 is asking, who are you? And that question is meant to provoke us to actually think about very carefully why we are here and who put us here. It's very clear from the Bible that we were made in the image and likeness of God, and that He has a plan for each one of us that's very unique, just like the way we look very different, each of us, no matter how much you are, say, born as twins, either identical or fraternal, you'll find you are very different in nature and very different in the uniquenesses that you have, giftings and talents that you have. Now, in this first chapter, we want to discuss about the fact that one of the things that identify who you are is your name. God Himself has a name. We call Him Jehovah, or we call Him Adonai, or we call Him many other names. He has names that describe His attributes and character, but He also has names that describe His functions or His operations or the things that He does. For example, El Gibor, Elohim, Sabaoth. These names, which you can always look up, if you Google, you'll get the names of God. They describe a God who is very clearly named. And this is what He gave to Adam in the Garden of Eden to do for everything that was created. Plants, animals, all creatures have names. So we as human beings are very, very conscious of the fact that we must have a name. That's what is demanded of immediately you're born in a hospital. And these names, they come to us as Gentile people, that is people who are not Jewish or not Hebrew by birth. They come to us by what is called ancestral culture. Many of us are named after people who died. Many of us are named after places. Many of us are named by the weather that was on the day you were born. Rain, sunshine, or moonlight. Some of us have even been named after heroes in our society of those days, or we were named after heroes of our day today. For example, football stars, Hollywood actors and actresses, musicians who have, so to speak, become very popular in the world. However, guess what? God has a name for every human being that is very specific and is attached to 3 main things, which I'm going to talk about. What's your name, for example? How did you get your name? Who named you? And ask yourself this question: did God have a name for you? Would you like to know it? Would you like to flow in the fact that His name has a purpose, for example? Well, that's what we are discussing briefly in this particular topic. Now, I have a name that I was given by God, Jonathan, and I can share that when we get to know each other more closely, especially in our classes. However, That name came because I was open to it. Now, my previous names came from my mother, came from my father, came from uncles and aunties. And in my case, because I was born in Nairobi, there's not too much about my Kikuyu culture that was involved. But for some people, oh, it is an elaborate exercise that involves evil spirits being summoned and giving names that came from old ancestral spiritual lineages. And for some of us, this has become the bane of the problems we face in life. You are named after somebody who was a witch, for example, or you are named after somebody who did great accomplishments for the demonic world, or you are named after someone with such terrible character traits, drunkards or drug addicts or people who are involved in stealing, or they were robbers who were known to kill people. And so you are named after that. And guess what? Though you are born again, though you are even water baptized, though you even speak in tongues as a spirit-filled believer, you have the tendency to steal, or you have the tendency to sleep around, although your husband or wife thought that you are going to be committed to each other and nobody else. And you want to stop, but you can't. Is the problem just you deciding it, or could there be a spirit force that has come into your life and that has taken the steering wheel of your life and is making you behave in a way you don't want to? Now, whether you agree with deliverance or you don't, guess what? You are in big trouble. Well, God is trying to send some help to you through this little show. Now, 1 Corinthians chapter 10 from verse 14 to 22 says something so profound. You know, I have read the scriptures many times, but at one point, this particular scripture jumped out of the Bible and became such a strong reality. In it, Apostle Paul is actually saying, in my Bible, flee from idolatry. Idolatry seems to be the biggest problem that the Christian has when they are dealing with their God. In that chapter, Paul says something so profound to the Gentiles. He says that the things that the Gentiles do in sacrifice, they do it to demons, not to God. And I do not want you to be participants with demons. You cannot have the Lord's table and the table of demons in terms of drinking. And you cannot eat from the table of demons and eat from the table of the Lord. Are we trying to arouse the Lord's jealousy? This is what Apostle Paul, apostle to the Gentiles, actually says in that scripture. And by saying that, he alludes to the fact, or this is the pure implication of that scripture, that we who are born into Gentile culture have connections with demonic power, whether we want to agree with it or we don't. And Paul is trying to help us that we can overcome the demons and be able to live a life that will please the Lord. Now, in this coming segment, I want to explain to you how that Gentile connection with demonic power affects how your naming comes to pass, and how that naming can actually play out for the schemes of the enemy. Stay tuned.
Habari ndio hiyo mtiangu mazee at Freddy Budabos changamka 123. Make sure mazee jo muuliza maswali. Pasi atakuwa hapo ku make sure ame respond to whatever question utakuwa nayo. Mazee tusaidie kusaidia na kujengana kwa history. Au sio? Please ukitaka kucheki video zote tumedu one time changamka www.budabos.co.ke. Mtiangu video zote tumeshawaidu. Kama wewe ni fan wa Super Sunday peke yake, utazipata ziko pale tumekupangia. Au sio? Next week tunaingia story ya naming. Itakuwa ni more fire. Yeah. Acha nikaa.